Orders of the day, ordre du jour, government orders, business of supply, consideration of an opposition motion on cost of living relief for Canadians, standing in the name of Mr. Singh.
Mr. Singh, seconded by Ms. Barron, moves that given that 1. Canadians are facing an affordability crisis and need more than temporary relief. 2. The government's $250 working Canadians rebate would exclude many workers and other Canadians who need it the most. 3. Le programme de 2021
3. The 2021 Conservative Party platform included a one-time GST holiday. The House call on the government to A. Permanently remove the GST from essential goods, including home heating, grocery, meals, internet and mobile phone bills, diapers, and kids' clothes. B. Expand the rebate to include all adults whose income is under the threshold and did not earn employment income in 2023, so that people like recent graduates trying to enter the workforce, retired seniors, people with disabilities, injured workers, workers on parental leave and long-term sick leave, and others in need are included.
Or that measure by putting in place an excess profit tax targeting the largest and most profitable corporations. Debate the honourable member for Burnaby South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll be splitting my time with the honourable member for Nanaimo, Lady Smith.
Here, here.
So I have a point of order. The honourable member for sorry, I don't have it here. For Calgary Forest Lawn, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to challenge the admissibility of the motion before us and seek clarity from the Chair in relation to Standing Order 8113. I'll quote directly from the Standing Orders 8113. Opposition motions on allotted days may be moved only by members in opposition to the government and may relate to any matter within the jurisdiction of the Parliament of Canada.
Order. I can't hear what the honourable member is. He quoted a standing order. I will listen to his standing order, and I would ask members to please wait until I've had an opportunity to hear a bit more of what the honourable member is putting forward. Could the honourable member just remind me what standing order he was referring?
8113.
Thank you.
On allotted days may be moved only by members in opposition to the government and may relate to any matter within the jurisdiction of the Parliament of Canada and also may be used for the purpose of considering reports from standing committees relating to the consideration of estimates therein. I would argue that the member moving the motion, who some call the Maserati Marxist, is not eligible to do so because—
The honourable member, I would ask him to be very careful about the wording that he's using. And I would ask him to withdraw and rephrase.
I would argue that the member moving the motion is not eligible to do so.
I remember to first withdraw. Thank you.
Because, strictly speaking, the member does not represent a party in the opposition to the government. He's voted 24 times in favour of the carbon tax scam when 70% of Canadians and 70% of premiers said not to increase the carbon tax scam. He's propped up the government on every vote of confidence along the way so he can protect his $2.2 million pension.
So again, it sounds to me like it's more debate. Is the honourable member saying that they can't move a motion because they are what?
Part of the government.
Well, they are not a part of the government, and the honourable member knows that full well. So therefore, the honourable member's point of order is out of order. I do have another point of order. The honourable member Peterborough, Northumberland. Hold on. I would just wait. I think that you need to wait till the mic is on before you want to speak, so that people can, so everybody can understand. The honourable member for Northumberland, Peterborough South.
I was trying to hear my colleague, and I heard considerable disruption. I would ask that the Speaker have control of the as it is right now. This is completely unacceptable.
And so I did rise on a number of occasions to indicate that I was hearing the honourable member, and so I would just again ask members to please be respectful when others have the floor, and I would also ask members to please make sure that when they rise on points of order, that those points of orders are actually legitimate. The honourable member for l'honorable député de Manicouagan.
Honourable member for Manicouagan, on a point of order. Madam Speaker, this will be in line with what you just mentioned. I would like to remind that as Francophones, for us, the interpretation is slower than the spoken words, so we are not really hearing what you're saying when there's overlap, and we're not hearing the interpreter, so it's hard for the interpreter as well. So the same point of order as last Friday, not to you, of course, to Mr. Autremont, to the Speaker. I apologize, we cannot name people by their last names, so I will just ask that if you can remind the House that we also would like to participate in full capacity in the debate. Thank you. I do appreciate this point. It is that time of year that some people maybe would like more to be home than here. But as I was saying last night, I hope that everyone will be respectful and that we will be kinder in the House of Commons, especially today. Honourable member for Burnaby South.
Next time,
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, one of the things that we've just realized.
Another point of order, the honourable member for Thornhill.
Point.
One order. Order, please.
Speaker.
Yep.
Madam Speaker, I'm rising on a question of privilege that I've given you notice of more than an hour.
Just want to say that the honourable member for Burnaby South has started his speech. I will take the points of privilege because after the speech is done, before the questions, it has been the convention. It has been the convention of the House to allow the speech to happen, and then the questions of privilege will be dealt with after the speech. So before the questions, to the honourable member for Burnaby South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I have one more point of order, and I hope this is not a challenge to the chair because I have made my decision. The honourable member for South Shore St. Margaret's.
Points of privilege take precedent over everything, and I would ask that...
As I've indicated to the honourable member, the conventions of the House is that we let the speech occur. Order. There's debate on both sides. I'm speaking right now. There is the convention of the House is that we allow the honourable member to finish his speech, and then before we get to questions and comments, and I will hear the question of privilege. The honourable member for Thornhill has another point of order.
I have a continuing a point of order. The standing orders state that a question of that you should hear a question of privilege if I've given you the appropriate notice. Madam Speaker, I gave you that appropriate notice this morning, more than an hour ago, and this House should hear a question of privilege, particularly to do with
a challenge to the chair, and I've already indicated that the convention of the House is that we hear the speech, and then we come back to the question of privilege during questions and comments. I would hope that members respect that. The honourable member for Burnaby South.
Hear, hear. Thank you, Madam Speaker. It seems like the billionaire bootlickers have a concern about the fact that I'm trying to bring forward a motion that calls for tax release, because we learned that Conservatives don't want tax relief for the working class. They want it for their billionaire buddies instead. Right. Yeah. So anytime we talk about tax relief for the working class, they get upset. Yeah. And that's what you just saw right now in the chamber. We'll clip this.
I'm gonna have to. I just noticed that there was a point of order and I missed it. So the honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You've referenced convention of the House. Could you cite any precedent? I've been a member for a long time, and I do follow the procedure, and I'm not aware of a single case previously where a member who has a question of privilege, especially one of the urgent nature being raised, was told that they had to wait. So if there is a convention of the House that I'm not familiar with, I wonder if you could share even a single instance previously where any member raising a matter of this nature has been told, sorry, you have to wait until the convenience of another member who isn't speaking on the matter of privilege is finished. My understanding is, very respectfully, that no such precedents exist. So there's a requirement, I know, to provide an hour notice in advance, but there's also a requirement to raise the issue at the earliest possible opportunity. And in fact, there are cases where speakers, I'm thinking of Speaker Regan, have dismissed questions of privilege simply on the basis that they weren't raised in sufficient time and with sufficient proximity. So members are under an obligation. If they don't follow that rule, then their very serious question of privilege could be dismissed, even if it was a question of privilege deemed to have merit, simply because
privilege is not going to be dismissed. The honourable member will have an opportunity to raise that during questions, before questions and comments. The question of privilege that has been put forward isn't with what's going on in the House, and it always has been a practice of this House, and I can come back to the member after on that, but it has been a practice of the House that we allow the speech to occur, and I am going to stick to that, and as I said, I will not take any more challenges to the chair. A point of order, and I hope it's not on this matter either. The honourable member for Grand Prairie Mackenzie.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. It is it's interesting that you've made this ruling, because over the last week there's been several Liberal members of Parliament who have
already indicated that I won't take a challenge to the chair on that. The honourable member for Battleford Lloydminster.
Thank you, Speaker. I asking through you that the leader of the NDP withdraw his comments. You very clearly made the member for Calgary Forest Lawn do that, and I would expect that there would be consistency and he would have to withdraw his comments.
So I did quite hear what the honourable member had said, because there was a lot of discussions here at this end of the chamber. I will listen to what was said and come back to the House if need be. The honourable member for Burnaby South.
And so I'll just begin from the top. We're going to make sure we clip this to show folks, anytime New Democrats want to talk about a tax break for the working class, the billionaire bootlicker Conservatives get upset. They don't like.
Well, I would just ask the honourable member for Burnaby South to withdraw that. Again, you know, I think that the words that are being used in this House from time to time that are directed to certain members, to individual members, is not acceptable, and I would just ask members, it is causing disorder. I would ask the member not to use that, and I would ask him to withdraw.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw the term billionaire bootlicker for the Conservatives. Yeah. So what? He
is not mocking me. First of all, order. The honourable member for Grand Prairie Mackenzie.
Madam Speaker, there's a tradition in this place that when the Speaker asks a member to withdraw, they simply withdraw and don't repeat the words again, Madam Speaker. Clearly, they're by the NDP member to disrespect the chair in this case.
So again, I certainly didn't take it that way. It is not unusual from time to time for members to withdraw with repeating the word. I would just ask members not to mention the word. That would be even better. But I would ask all members to do the same with whatever words that they use that causes disorder in the House, knowing that they know that it causes disorder in the House. The honourable member for South Shore St. Margaret's on a separate point of order.
The Liberal lickspittle member down there needs to fully withdraw.
Again, so these types of characterization, no matter what it is, I would just ask members to stop using adjectives and maybe just speak to the issue that is before the House. The point of order, the honourable member for Peterborough South.
Thank you. I have used
Northumberland, Peterborough South.
Inappropriate term of sellout sing. I'd like to withdraw that, referring to the NDP leader.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of games being played right now, and I would just ask members to please refrain from doing that so we can get to the business of the House. The honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, point of order.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. My conscience was prodded by the intervention from the member for Peterborough, and I may too have at some point used the term Maserati Marxist to.
We're going to shut this down right now. The honourable member for Burnaby South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to talk about the Canadian dream. This is what we want for everyone in our country. We want people to be able to find a good job, and that job should earn you enough so you can find a home that meets your needs, that meets the needs of your family. We want to make sure that people have enough so that they can have a fridge full of groceries, and that they don't worry when they go to the grocery store about what they need. They get everything that they need for their family. They can save up enough money, maybe for a trip, maybe for a little vacation, for the treats that their family or their loved ones need. But that is not what it feels like right now. People are losing hope. They're seeing the super rich making more money than ever before, and they keep on falling behind. Canadians are doing everything right, but they can't get ahead. And it's because governments, and this government specifically, has failed to do the most important job of government, to fight for people, not the billionaires and not the CEOs. In this difficult time, it is clear that the Liberal government has let people down. Rents have doubled, home prices have doubled, grocery prices are out of control. Big corporations, though, on the other hand, have seen their profits massively increase. Their CEOs are getting huge bonuses. Shareholders are getting huge dividends. And Trudeau says to leave the economy up to the bankers. Instead of choosing people, he chooses the wealthiest CEOs, corporations, and billionaires. He has shown again and again he's too weak to stand up to corporate greed. While they're raking in cash, people are drowning in bills. And what have the Conservatives done throughout this? Well, they want to pour fuel on the fire of corporate greed. Their plan is to make life even less affordable. The leader of the Conservatives wants to cut deeply and hurt people. He wants to cut from the working class to give to his CEO friends. He wants to cut health care so that it's even harder to find a family doctor. So wait lists and wait times are even longer. He wants to cut pharmacare so people don't get access to free birth control or free diabetes medication. He wants to cut pensions so seniors who are already struggling to get by are even in more difficult times. He wants to cut EI so that workers who can't find a job or can't get back to work have even more difficulty getting back on their feet. He wants to cut dental care because he's saying that seniors and kids don't deserve to get their teeth looked after. That is what he wants to do. There is a cost to the Conservatives, and people need to know this cost. He wants to cut childcare. Well, if he does that, that could cost families more than $8,000 more a year. He wants to cut the Canada Child Benefit. That would hurt families another $600 a month. There are costs to the Conservatives, and that hurts. He wants to cut from you to give to big businesses. That is what he has shown. He will let you fall further and further behind to help the very richest get even further ahead. Last week, he proved who he truly is, and the Conservative Party proved who they're truly in it for. They had no problem when they were in government to bring a $60 billion...
Sorry, I have another point of order. The honourable member for South Shore St. Margaret's.
I don't believe there's quorum in the House.
I will double check, see if we have quorum in the House. It will just take a few minutes. Commissionnaire en ligne? 7. So on est correct. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have quorum. There's individuals online as well, and so they are considered to be in the House. The honourable member Burnaby South.
You see much map down there.
Last week, the Conservatives showed us what they're really about. You know, they often talk about tax cuts. We learned that when they say tax cuts, they mean for billionaires only. Because they had no problem with a $60 billion tax cut for the richest CEOs corporations, but they said no to a tax cut for the working class because they've shown us who they really are. On top of that, the Conservative leader's own campaign in 2021 that he ran on promised a GST holiday. And now he's voting against it. The hypocrisy is so blatant.
Unbelievable.
It shows you that anytime they talk about cutting taxes, they only want to cut taxes for their CEO buddies. They don't want relief for families. So what they're saying is to a single mom that's trying to buy a snowsuit for her kid, no, you don't deserve a tax cut. They're saying to a senior that maybe wants to go out to a dinner, no, you don't deserve a break. But to a CEO that runs a massively wealthy corporation, yeah, you need big tax breaks. That's what the Conservatives have sold.
Another point of order, the Honourable Member South Shore St. Margaret's.
In the House and online, I think you should check for quorum.
Comment est-ce qu'il y en a en ligne? Il y en a 15 ici. Il y en a 15 ici. So there was a quorum and there still is quorum. The Honourable Member for Burnaby South.
Et où sont les blocs dans tout ça?
And where is the Bloc Québécois in all this? What is very clear is that the Bloc Québécois has shown that in this minority government situation, even when it's a minority government, they are a symbolic and useless party. Point of order, the Honourable Member for La Salle et Mar Verdun. My colleague knows that you cannot mention the absence of someone in this House.
Okay. Je sais pas.
I don't know what was said, but I will watch the video and I'll get back to the House. Yes, if the member mentions someone who is not in the House or someone's not being in the House,
Is not. Une minute, je vais prendre l'honorable député de Manicouagan aussi, là.
The Honourable Member for Manicouagan. Madam Speaker, I have been hearing these insults since earlier when I arrived.
L'honorable député.
I'm sorry, I can't hear the member because
Someone else has the floor. L'honorable député de
the Honourable Member. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would just like to ask you to remind the House that we should respect our colleagues. We're trying to behave appropriately, and we've been hearing insults and even threats towards our political party. This is deplorable. I'm not responsible for the fact that some people may be in the House or not, and my political party isn't either. So I would like these members to be called to order. They're continuing to heckle me while I'm speaking. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what was said, but it was clarified. It is certain, indeed. It is true that we can't refer to who is or isn't in the House, and we can't say that one or another party is or isn't in the House. There are also people participating virtually. That needs to be taken into account. That has been dealt with. Now, in addition, when someone has the floor, it is critical that they have the opportunity to say what they have to say without being interrupted. And if there were insults, I hope people will refrain from that kind of behavior. We all have a right to be respected in this House. And what the member raised as well, there was a part of what she said that was a point of debate. But if we could refrain from causing disorder in the House, that would always be better. I hope everyone here will respect each other. That way, we can have our debate, we can have questions and comments, we can have points of order and questions of privilege without being attacked in any way. The honourable member for Northumberland, Peterborough South.
I heard behaviour, quite frankly, that was intimidating to my colleague, and I do appreciate your admonishment, and I'll hear more of that heckling and more of that intimidation. But
I already laid the law on this here, and I'm hoping that members will.
I do believe an apology is required.
Yes, yes.
So again, I didn't quite hear what was being said. We can look at the record and see. I did indicate that there shouldn't be any insults or anything else that is being hurled at anybody. And so I will ask the clerks to come back to me with what exactly was said, because I certainly didn't hear it from this end. L'honorable député de Manicouagan, puis après ça,
The honourable member for Manicouagan, and then after that, the member for Cowichan and Malahat Langford. Yes, Madam Speaker, briefly, the threat was to counter our next Bloc Québécois Opposition Day. What was said was, we're warning you, your next Opposition Day won't go well. That's what I call bullying. Well, I didn't hear that in the House. But I will check to see if we were able to hear something.
Yes, Madam Speaker. I think today we are obviously witnessing behavior in the House from the Conservatives that is meant to disrupt the leader of the NDP's speech. And I think they are sore because we forced them to vote against women's reproductive health and rights yesterday.
I think that's more of a point of debate and not a point of order. I would ask members to please rise, when they rise, to please state the point of order that they are actually rising on. The honourable for South Shore St. Margaret's.
On the same point of order of the member for Manicouagan, while the chair, because of the heckling from the NDP House Leader, may not have heard it, I did hear the threat about the Bloc's future opposition days from that end of the House. So I can verify that when you're reviewing this issue.
I indicated I would review. Thank you very much. The honourable member for Chatham-Kent-Leamington.
On the same point of order, Madam Speaker, a threat, not a promise, or a promise, not a threat. I just heard that in my background as well. A pattern of behavior, a pattern of threats. Again, from the Foreign Affairs Committee yesterday, the leader of the NDP threatened every member for voting and then misrepresented the motion. Same pattern of behavior, Madam Speaker.
Whatever's happening in committee, I cannot weigh on that. The committee is responsible for their own chairing of their meetings, and I would also indicate that I've already ruled or I've already made a declaration on this. As I said, I would come back to the House and I'll allow the debate to continue. Sorry, I have another point of order. The honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan. The honourable member. Sorry, the honourable member is not coming through, so I'm not sure if his mic is not plugged in properly. No, it's not working. He might want to try to come back on some other way. The honourable for Burnaby South can continue his debate.
Here.
So, Madam Speaker, in this debate about how to help families, where is the Bloc Québécois in all of this? They have shown that they are merely a useless and symbolic party. In a minority government, they have still shown that they can't deliver for Canadians.
So, Northumberland's Peterborough South.
Peterborough South. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The leader of the NDP just referred to the Bloc Québécois using unparliamentary language, and not only would that be the group, but also the individuals.
On that type of language all the time in this House, I think that the official opposition and every other party in this House would be taken to task all the time. Again, I would ask members to be respectful. The issue is that when you are attacking an individual per se, is where it becomes a problem, and I would just ask members to please be mindful. The honourable member South Shore St. Margaret's.
The Member of Parliament for New Westminster Burnaby is consistently telling members of Parliament in this House to sit down, trying to remove their right to speak on behalf of their constituents. I would ask you to please ask him to show respect for members of Parliament right to speak in this House. He just did it again twice and said, sit down. He is not the Speaker. If he wants to run for Speaker, he should do it.
Again, I want to remind members that when someone has the floor, to be respectful, and when others rise to take the floor, they shouldn't be told to sit down or anything like that. This happens from all parties. It's not one particular party. It happens all the time, and I would just ask members to please be respectful of each other. No matter how many times we rise to tell individuals or to guide individuals, it seems that individuals still do it. The Honourable for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Yes, Madam Chair. Can I just test that it's working? I made some changes to the system. Can I raise my point of order? Am I being heard?
Yes, it's working now.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I apologize for the technical issues. I wanted to follow up on the point of order for the member for Manickawagan. Members are presumed to be honourable members when they hear something, when they raise something. It is not the tradition of the House to say we need to wait for the video evidence. If two members contradict each other, that's another matter, but the member for Manickawagan raised an issue of a threat. Other members have heard it. No member has risen to contradict those comments or say they weren't made. So I think the traditions of the House would not be that we would wait for a tape, but rather that we would presume that with the member for that the member for Manickawagan is an honourable member and has spoken truly about the threats that were made. So I think the Speaker.
So the honourable member knows full well that it is actually the practice of the House to either review the Hansards or look at videos from the House of Commons. I've been here for 16 years, and it's been being done for 16 years. So I would just come back, as I indicated, I would come back to the House unless somebody wants to rise and withdraw right away. But at this point, as I indicated, I am prepared to wait until I hear. But if someone wants to rise, that's fine too. The honourable member for. So this is the last point of order that I will hear on this. I have already ruled. So. The honourable member for Northumberland, Peterborough South, on this a separate point of order.
This is a separate point of order, and as part of my privilege, I have the ability to raise points of order. The Speaker nor anyone can stop that. So my point is that you have the right. We have
standing order, please.
We have the right to raise orders in this House.
What standing order?
I will go back and get that if that's what you desire. But I'll come back and I'll talk a little bit about point of orders then, if that's what you want. Or we can continue with the point of order, which was a clarification.
I would ask members to please hold off. I am dealing with the issue, so I would just ask members to please hold off.
So my point of order, which was a separate point of order, which is I have the right, not for me, but for the people of Northumberland, Peterborough South, the 100,000 people that I represent, to speak on their behalf. That's why I was elected. That way I was sent here. Mine is a point of clarification.
I would ask members to please hold back.
Just 1 second. Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Just 1 second. Again, I would ask members to please be respectful. Somebody else has the floor. I will determine if it's a point of debate or not. The honourable member. Whoops, sorry. I think this morning I forgot to put my phone on. I know that this is something that I always tell people, and I usually don't have it on, but.
If you want me to sub, I'm more than happy to. So my point of clarification is this. You had ruled earlier that, of course, when they referred to a party as useless, that was okay because it was a party. So if I referred to the NDP as a team of Maserati Marxists,
so again, yes. Now, I think that people are just impeding on what the House will allow and what the House won't allow. So I would just ask members, they know that there's gray zones, but this has been a point, these are points that have been raised on a number of occasions, and I would just ask members to please be respectful. The honourable member for Bow River, on a separate point of order.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. Through this, what has occurred here, could you please advise us to how much time the current Speaker has left in his speech?
Yes, the honourable member has 3 minutes and 49 seconds, and I'm sure that he's anxious to get through it, and I'm sure that members are anxious to get through this so that we can get to other orders. The honourable member for Burnaby South.
Call.